Hey guys, how is everybody doing? Now today I want to talk about a strategy for processing and reflecting on emotions, and this is journaling. Now last night, and over the last few days even, I've been feeling a little lonely. Now I can be surrounded by people, but I've still been feeling a little lonely. And this is all linked back to the recent death of my dad. And in the aftermath of his death, organising the funeral, etc., etc., I've actually been feeling reasonably good about things. Like I had some time to achieve some closure with Dad. The circumstances of his death went as well as these things can kind of be planned. And overall, I'm a very reflective, positive person who can always see the wider perspective of things, and I'm incredibly grateful for everything in life. And this has helped me a lot in the kind of initial stages of Dad's death. However, last week I returned back to work and things were a little tough, and my physical energy was low, my emotional energy was low, and that was probably part of the reason why I was feeling a little down, and I was just starting to feel lonely and missing Dad. And so after a few days of feeling like this, last night I decided to do a bit of journaling, to write down my feelings and emotions and kind of work through and get to the crux of what the underlying issue and emotion was. So I started writing, started reflecting on everything that I've just described to you so far, how objectively, I've been able to view my dad's death fairly kind of objectively and see the wider reason and use my kind of skills and traits of gratitude and perspective and reflect on how his job as a parent was kind of done. He had got me to the point where I'm ready to go out and live unaided, without any help. Now, if his death had come this time even last year, I would not be as emotionally secure and comfortable as I am now. Even last year, I still needed my dad a little bit to guide me in life. But now I've gone to the point where I don't need him as a parent anymore. So this kind of feeling of loneliness and stuff wasn't due to that. However, as I started writing, I realised that whilst I didn't need him as a parent anymore, I still wanted him there as my dad. I wanted to just, tell him how everything is going in life, how the new job is, how the new girlfriend is, how the business ideas are going. I wanted to, just go and take him for dinner and have a few pints and watch a football match or a rugby match, like the way that we always used to do. And I realised that I can't do that anymore. And that's why I was feeling sad and lonely. I just wanted him there as my friend and my companion, as well as just being a parent. And I'm sure you can hear a bit of the emotion coming through now as I say it. That is the real crux of the emotions and the sad feelings that I was getting. And as I started writing that last night, I started crying. And that helped me to realise that that was the underlying problem underneath these feelings of loneliness. And I didn't really get down to that level and be able to process it until I started writing it. And after I'd written it and had a little cry, I felt a lot better. And I continued writing a little longer, and I finished on a positive note. I reflected on how, yes, I wanted to tell Dad everything that's going on and see him again and see his reaction and see how pleased he is for me and how proud of me he is. But just because I can't see him doesn't mean that he can't see me. He's up there, out there, in the spirit world, however you view these things, whatever your religious or spiritual beliefs. I believe that there is somewhere that you do go after you die, and you can still see the living world, and or at least have some kind of connection to it. And I'm sure Dad is still connected to me at, some higher level, and he can still see and feel that I am getting on all right and things are going good for me, even though, I am, maybe feeling a little down at the moment. And that's how I finished my little kind of journaling blog for that night, was reflecting on Dad is still there, and he will still see and hear all of the good things that happened in my life. My first marriage, hopefully my only marriage, my first child, my first real success in terms of my career and my business. And that helped me feel a lot better, writing down those feelings and processing those emotions. And I would recommend to all of you that whatever hardships you're going through, whatever negative emotions you're kind of feeling, you start writing them down. And writing them down, might not solve anything. In fact, it probably won't solve anything, because, what difference does it make putting negative feelings from in here to writing them? But what it will do is going to give you a little bit of clarity and insight into what it is that you're feeling, and maybe just through that, it can make you feel a little better. It can give you some direction into how you can go and resolve these issues, because the only enemy that we can fight is the enemy that we know. So by knowing your enemy, by writing down whatever it is that's really bothering you or affecting you, you can begin to take steps to combat it. Now, that's just one example of how journaling can help you. On a more positive note, I'm going to talk about two others that I use a lot more frequently, to be honest. The first is Instagram blogging. For anyone who knows me, blooming crazy about my Instagram. I absolutely love it. I love the whole mechanisms, the process, the engagement, the interaction that you have on Instagram. I think it's unrivaled amongst the social media. There's nothing quite like it out there. I really enjoy it. I blog on it, not even at least once a day. I'm trying to blog on it 4 times a day, if possible. And I can't remember the last time that I didn't blog at least twice on it during a day. It's a massive help for me. Doesn't take long. I spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes on a blog post. Maybe I take a little longer kind of thinking it up, but I usually think of posts whilst I'm commuting on the subway to work, or I'm walking back from the shops or the gym, or something just comes up during everyday life, and I think, oh, there's a blog post in there, and I'll store it in the back of my mind, put it on my phone if I can, so I remember. And then when I have the opportunity, I'll sit down and write a little post about it. And now this can be my personal reflections, this can be lessons or advice that I give to you guys. Often it's a little bit of both. Often I try and give a tip, and then I say how I've applied it in my life, or offer you some of my personal insights and reflection, just so you guys, get that bit more of a personal connection with me, and also to kind of illustrate better how to use these tips and techniques and advice. So that's another method of journaling that I really like to do. I find it very therapeutic and cathartic, and if I've done nothing else in a day but do my Instagram posts, I get a little kind of spurt of positive energy every time I've done a post. And there's loads of other psychological phenomena in there. There's the social gratification of people engaging with you. There's the kind of instant reward system of every time you get a like, that's a little reward. Every time you get a comment, that's a little reward. Every time someone follows you, that's another little reward. So you've got the reward system in there. So there's a host of processes going on in Instagram blogging that I think are very, very helpful for increasing positive emotion and reducing negative emotion. Now, the final form of journaling that I'm going to talk to you about is writing a gratitude diary. Now, I've been doing this since the start of the year, so that's about 8 months now. And what you do at the end of the day is you write down 3 things that you're either happy happened during the day or you're grateful for. Now, these can be, really cool things like, today I got a new job and had a really nice dinner with my partner and saw a friend that I haven't seen for a long, long time. Now, those days are fantastic, but you're not always going to have days like that, are you? Sometimes you've got a very dull, monotonous day. But if you can find the silliest little thing to be happy for, like today I bought some toilet roll. Today the subway train came on time and I didn't have to, wait for it. Just silly little things like that. By focusing on them and writing them down, even if you've had a terrible day at work or you've had an argument with someone that you love or you're generally just feeling kind of tired and run down, by focusing on what might seem a silly little thing with barely any positive energy attached to it, you take energy and attention away from the negative things that are happening. And by reducing focus on them, you reduce the power that they have over you. And now I've just been talking about things that you're pleased happen during the day. Things that you also want to write what you're grateful for. Now, you can do that no matter how rough your day has been. The fallback that you always have is, I'm grateful to be alive. At the end of the day, no matter how bad your day has been, if you didn't even buy toilet roll to save the day, at least you're alive. And when there's life, there's hope. Things can always get better as long as you're alive. Now, there's other things you can be grateful for. You can be grateful for having fantastic friends. You can be grateful for having a job. It might have been a shit day at that job, but trust me, I've been on that job hunting search, sitting there for 6 weeks on job seekers allowance, sending out CV after CV, using buzzwords until they were they were hurting me to write them. An incredibly unfulfilling and worrying situation to be in. So at least you have that job, no matter how stressful or crap it's been that day. Grateful to have an abundance of food. That's something that we forget in the Western world, is we have shops within less than 5 minutes walk, pretty much everywhere in our society. There are millions, even billions of people out there who, can't rely on having food every day. Sometimes they have to go without, or they go on less food that they need. So us Westerners, really need to learn to be a little more grateful for what we've actually got in life. And the problem with having so much is that we get used to it and we take it for granted. And by bringing things back, by humbling ourselves a little more and reminding ourselves that we're incredibly lucky to be where we are in the world, is very important. And that will help increase your positive energy and reduce your negative feelings. So those were my 3 tips on how to use journaling to increase positive energy and reduce negative feeling. I hope you enjoyed that. Now go out there with an inquisitive mind, an adventurous spirit, and an open heart. Wishing you all health and happiness. David.